right next to it. Is it still there? You guys don't know that. Anyway, I am just delighted to be back in Toronto. I'm telling you, every time I come here and the sun is shining, I'm amazed. Because the years I lived here, the best thing about Toronto was the road to Montreal. And I'm from Montreal, and there's 17 people from Montreal. Yeah. And anybody go to McGill? 3 people from McGill. Anybody go to the Students' Union at McGill? 5 people from the Students' Union. What's the name of the building of the Students' Union? Shatner. It's the Shatner Building. Oh, that's the guy. They named a building after me. I used to write and produce and act and direct all the university musicals, the McGill Red, White, and Blues, we call them then. I don't know what we're calling them. And there was in this old Students' Union building, there was a staircase down to the basement. And under the staircase was the office to the Red, White, and Blue. So I was a young, vital, hormonal university student with a little office under a staircase. Can you imagine what went on? What are you two guys doing there? What are they standing there looking at me glowering? What is that?
We can just leave you to it.
Oh, no. So anyway, what went on in that office, I can't even begin to tell you. But those musicals were really good. So here I am, a Canadian who went from Stratford to the United States. Are we applauding United States or Stratford? So I went down there and got onto some shows, and I did one show after another, and it all worked out. So here I am back again. But when I was in Los Angeles, struggling to find work, I used to think, I could always come back to Toronto. Well, here I am. I'm going to be in front of you for a brief while, so I'll just ramble on for a few minutes, tell you some amusing things that have happened to me recently, and then I'll go to some questions, and then I'll ramble on, perhaps less amusingly. First I can think of is total Canadiana. Is I was in the closing ceremonies of the Winter Olympics. So I'm sure most of us here are Canadians, and so I can talk disparagingly of Canada, and we'll all know what I'm talking about. So when that thing in the opening ceremonies didn't come up, I thought, oh Lord, no, not Canada. Gee whiz. You know, the Chinese had spent $40 billion on their Olympics, and they had 10,000 soldiers beating on drums. And I remember when they came to me and said, we would like you to be in the closing ceremonies, I kept asking the guys who were being responsible for the opening and closing ceremonies, what are you going to do with the top $40 billion? I mean, Canada doesn't make $40 billion of the entire gross national product. And they spent that on the Olympics. What are we going to do? And they said, imagination. Hey, you can't beat imagination. You can't buy imagination. So now, those pylons have to come up. Am I talking to the choir here? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. So 3 pylons come up, and the 4th pylon doesn't come up. And I see Wayne Gretzky. And I recognize the little beads of sweat on his head. In acting terms, that's called flop sweat. Because I now know that he had an earpiece. And there was somebody in his ear saying, not now, Wayne, not yet, wait, it's going to go up, wait. Sounded like it needed a Viagra or something. Wait, it'll come up in a second. And for 2.5 minutes, Wayne Gretzky waited to light the torch, and finally they decided it's not going to go up. First time it had a glitch. They must have tried it, I'm told now, 30, 40 times. It worked every time. But of course, on the the air, so it didn't work. Now, that was horrible. I don't know about you guys, but I just shrank. Now it's the closing ceremonies. I'm in Vancouver, and I'm watching what they won't tell anybody what they're going to do. So I'm watching. They built a stage higher than this in that arena, 10 feet, so you could walk underneath. So there was traffic going underneath the stage, and there were lifts going up and down on the stage. And there was all these people in that huge amphitheater, and then 4 billion people watching, okay? So I'm watching on a television monitor, and I see the mime, I guess from a Cirque du Soleil, come in and pretend to lift the 4th pylon, which goes up. And I think, of course, that's Canada. Imagination. They planned the whole damn thing. It was great. Except I knew they hadn't planned it. So now I'm in this thing underneath, this bottom floor. There's this 10-foot ceiling. And I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I've got the ear thing in my ear, and Neil Young goes up the lift, he plays a song, great song, and everybody loves it. Now he descends, and I hear, and I've been in rehearsal, so I've had a number of words to say, and I've rehearsed it a couple of times. But everybody's made me aware that there are 60,000 people in the arena, and 4 billion people watching. And what you don't want to do is forget the words. You don't want to forget the words. In front of 60,000 people and 4 billion people watching. So what they do to prevent it is they put up a teleprompter on the little platform that I'm going up. So I hear the guy say, put Shatner on the platform. So I get on the platform. The platform's a little bigger than this, and the teleprompter's right here. And I see a guy go like this. 4 billion people! What's wrong with the teleprompter? Put Shatner on the thing. I'm getting on the thing, the guy is pounding on this thing, and finally the lift is going up, and I hear him go, it works! And I go, I didn't need the teleprompter, but boy, I'll tell you, that was one terrible moment in Canada. There's a fun story apropos of that. So they came down to Los Angeles, the people who were running the show, and they said, here's the closing ceremony, and what we'd like you to do. And I said, fine. And they said, there's no money involved. I said, no, it's fine. And they said, well, we'll pay some of your expenses. So I said, well, I'd like to bring some of my family. They said, fine. So I brought 13 members of my family. So my daughters, their husbands, the children, everything. And we're in this hotel, and we would gather every meal around this large table, 13 members of my immediate family. So some guy sidles up to me in rehearsal, and he says, you know, Bill, we have 4 tickets to the hockey game. And you know, and I had read this in the paper, in the Vancouver paper, they're going for $40,000 a piece. And we have 4 tickets for you. And that's because we love you. And we came up here, and you're giving us your time, and you brought 13 members of your family over, but we have 4 tickets for you. So I said, oh, that's great, 4 tickets to the game. I mean, 4 times 40, what's that again? You know? So now I'm sitting at this table of 13. I got 3 sons-in-laws, and 2 older grandchildren, boys, who are athletes. And I'd say, look, I've got 4 tickets. There's 13 of us, and so that means only 4 of us can go. My wife and I are going. Elizabeth and I are going. That leaves 2 tickets. So, this is not a democracy. This is a patriarchy. And I am assigning these 2 tickets to son-in-law Joel and son-in-law Andrew. And that's the way it is. I'm sorry, folks, but these 2 guys are interested in hockey. And Elizabeth and I have to have the experience, and the girls don't care, and the grandchildren are too small, and so that's the way it is. Okay, and everybody goes, okay. And my oldest daughter, who is the mother of the 2 older grandchildren, boys, sidles up to me and says, you know, Grant and Eric would really like to go. So, you know, I mean, all right, I'm the grandfather, I'm the father-in-law, but I think grandfather has more weight to it. So, all right, Joel, Andrew. Sorry, you can't have the tickets. And Joel goes, what? He's an actor, Joel Gretsch, and he was in Vancouver shooting, and he told everybody that he was going to the hockey game. But not only that, he loves hockey. And I swear to God, there were tears in his eyes. And he said, I'm not going to the hockey game. I said, well, I don't know what to do. I mean, my grandson was, he says, all right. I give my ticket to Grant, and Andrew gives his ticket to Eric, and now the 2 grandsons of Elizabeth and I are going. And Elizabeth says, Joel, I love you so much that I'll give you my ticket. That's when I said, oh. So Joel gets his ticket. And now the 2 grandsons of Joel and I are going. And it's all worked out. And Andrew didn't care that much, and that's great. Now I get Saturday night, I guess it was, whatever it was, the closing ceremony, Sunday night. I'm there. And the same guy who said, Bill, I have 4 tickets for you, sidles up to me and says, I don't know how to say this, but the 4 tickets have been sold. I said, Joel and Eric and Grant and I, we're going to go. So they disappeared. Somebody got a $40,000 ticket, and 4 tickets, $160,000. Just lying around the ticket. I don't know where they went. So, here's what I said. I hate that actor bull stuff. I don't know how many kids are here. Bull bleep. I hate actor bull bleep, but I'm pulling some actor bull bleep here. Unless I get 4 tickets, I'm not going on. It works every time. He said, what do you mean you're not going on? I said, hey, you promised me 4 tickets. I promised my family 4 tickets. This is a very serious matter. You got to get me 4 tickets. I don't care where you get them. You have to get me 4 tickets. I turned white. He sidled off. And some hours later, he sidled back and he said, Bill, because we love you, we have 3 tickets. So I'm thinking, all right, I have a fallback position. I'll give my ticket to Joel and I won't go. And I'm ready to do that. When an hour later he sidles up and he says, Bill, we've got 3 more tickets. You mean you got me 6 tickets? Yes. Everybody went to the hockey game! But it's such a story of love in the family. We were so touched. It's like a legend in our family. We retell it every 6 months. All right, anybody got a question in my...